Welcome back. We're going to do a quick video on how to work out the highest common factor and the lowest common multiple, specifically using Venn diagrams. Now, in case you need a bit of a refresher, the highest common factor is, in layman terms, the biggest number that goes into two or three or more other numbers. For example, if I've got if I've got 8 and 12, both 2 and 4 go into 8 and 12. However, 4 is the highest common factor that goes into both 8 and 12. Okay, and the lowest common multiple is the lowest number that is a multiple or is in the times table of two numbers. So, for example, if I've got 2 and I've got 6, 6 is the LCM of 2 and 6 because it's the lowest number in both times tables. Okay, so 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. 6, 12, 18. Oops, sorry. 6 and 6 is the lowest common multiple. Now, how do we work this out? So the method that I use, that I find the easiest, is the Venn diagram method. So let's try this with the number 100, and let's try the number 64. Okay, so the way that you do it is you do the product of primes that we did in the last video. So let's do that first. So 100 is 10 times 10, 64 is 8 times 8, and none of them are prime numbers, so we keep on breaking them down until we're left with only prime numbers. 5 and 2 are prime, break, circle. 8 is 4 and 2, 4 and 2, and 4 you can break it down into 2, 2. Okay, so I've done the product of primes. The next step is you want to work out or do a Venn diagram. So a Venn diagram is a nice way to represent two pieces of information. So in this case, we're going to compare two different numbers factors. So on the left hand side, I'm going to put down 100. On the right hand side, I'm going to put down 64. And the way a Venn diagram is built is the overlap part in the middle is for factors that are common in both. And this is the bit that we start off with. Okay, so we look at all the circle numbers, and one by one, we start thinking about which numbers show up in both. Okay, so let's start off over here. I've got a 2 here. Let's start off with this one. I've got a 2 here. Do I have a matching 2 over here underneath the 64? Okay, I do. Now I'm looking in terms of pairs. Okay, I'm only looking in terms of pairs. So do I find a pair of 2s? Yes, I do. Underneath both numbers, and then I write it down once in the middle here. Okay, and when I've done it, I cross them out. I've got another 2 here, and I've got another 2 on the right hand side I can cross out and write down in the middle here. Now, do I have any other common factors? I've got 2 5s left underneath the 100, and I've got no 5s underneath the 64. So what happens with these 2 5s is it goes underneath the 100. So, and I write down the number of times that I've got it. So I've got 2 5s, so I write down 5 twice and I cancel it out. So I've got no more factors left underneath the 100. Everything else that's left is under the 64, and there's nothing else to cancel down with. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 2s, cross them out, and I write down 4 2s underneath the 64. Now, what is the third and final step? Okay, how do we work out the HCF and the LCM from a Venn diagram? For the HCF, you multiply just the middle or the overlap. For the LCM, you multiply everything. Okay, so if I'm trying to work out the HCF of this bit, HCF is just the middle part, 2 squared or 2 times 2, which is 4. So the highest common factor of both 100 and 64 is 4. and the lowest common multiple is when you multiply everything inside the Venn diagram. So what that means is I multiply the 5 times the two numbers in the middle times 2 times 1, 2, 3, 4 twos. 2, 2, 2, and 2. So 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 2 is 50. 50 times 2 is 100. 100 times 2 is 200. 400, 800, and 1600. So the lowest common multiple of both 100 and 64 is 1600. Okay, so what you can do now is you can practice it yourself. You can pause this video and attempt this question. So the question is, what is the HCF and the LCM of the two numbers? Let's try 60 and 150. Okay, so I'm going to stop talking for 5 seconds. You can put me on pause, and in 5 seconds' time, I'm going to carry on talking. All right, so let's try this out ourselves, and let's see if you got it correct. So 60 is 3 and 2, 15 and 2, 5 and 3. Okay, 150 is 50 and 3, 10 and 5, 5 and 2. Okay, so I've done step 1. Step 2 is the Venn diagrams. Label it 60 and 150. Okay, and what about if I start off with the right hand side? This time doesn't make a difference. So let's start with a 3 here. Do I have a 3 on the left hand side? Yes, I do. So I'll cancel it out and just write it down just once in the middle. So I'm looking for pairs again. I've got a 5 over here. Do I have a 5 on this side? Yes, I do. Cancel, cancel, write down a 5 just once in the middle. I've got a 2 over here. Do I have a 2 on the left hand side? Yes, I do. Write it down once, cancel them both out. And I've got a 5 left over here on the right hand side. I do not have a 5 left over on the left hand side. So this 5 over here is going to go underneath the relevant circle, in this case 5, cross it out. And this 2 over here is by itself. There's no other 2's left to cancel out with. So this 2 goes over here. And finally, to work out the HCF, you multiply everything in the middle. So 3 times 5 times 2, which is equal to 3 times 5 is 15, 15 times 2 is 30. And the lowest common multiple is 3 times 5 times 2, the middle part, times, so 30, times the remaining two numbers, 2 and 5. So 2 times 2 times 5. 30 times 2 is 60. 60 times 5 is 300. So the HCF and LCM of 30 and 300 is, HCF and LCM of 60 and 150 is 30 and 300 respectively. Okay, just a side point, because we know how to work out the Venn diagram from a prime factor decomposition, we can actually also work backwards. Okay, if I have got, if I've got a Venn diagram, okay, I can use that to work out what the original number is, because if you look at these Venn diagrams, let's go to this one which I haven't crossed out. What happens if you multiply all the numbers within one circle? So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, it gives you 64. So if you multiply all the numbers within a circle, including the overlap, you should get, hypothetically, if you've done it correctly, the original number. Okay, same thing with the left-hand side. If I multiply 5 times 5 times 2 times 2, so 5 times 5 is 25, 25 times 2 is 50, 50 times 2 is 100, I should get the original number. Okay, so if I was given a Venn diagram that looks like, even if it looks like this, a triple Venn diagram, we're going to address this properly in another video. oops, sorry, why did I write down a 6? Silly of me. 3 and 5, okay. Just by looking at this, I can work out what the original 3 numbers were. So for this circle, okay, these are my 3 numbers. If I multiply 3 times 5 times 2, okay, 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 5 times 3 rather, sorry. 3 times 5 is 15. 15 times 3 is 45. So this original number was 45, whereas here it was 3 times 5 times 2. So 3 times 5 is 15. 15 times 2 is 30. And here is 3 times 5. 3 times 5 is 15. So the 3 numbers that I did a Venn diagram with is 45, 30, and 15. So hopefully you found that useful. If you are finding it useful, please subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you.